After graduating from college with a course in journalism, I immediately applied as a reporter for various local channels. But of course, in reality, one cannot become a reporter instantly. A greenhorn like me has to go through all the motions, and we have to start from the bottom until we reach our way to the top. And we really need to strive and persevere no matter how long it might take. Right now, though I'm still far from being a reporter, but throughout my days as a video archiver or editor, I find myself having weird and unique experiences every day. The news always brings you something new, and you can't help but wonder at how or why these things happen. Seeing those in front of you make it really hard to doubt that these things aren't real. To give you a brief idea of what I really do as a video archiver, I watch hours upon hours of raw footage given by cameramen and reporters from their field work. This means I get to watch exclusive footage not meant for everybody's eyes. No block censorship, no black bars, nothing. Some of these videos usually include reports on murder, rape, and various crimes that really don't look anything like fake blood they show on TV. You can never really be prepared to see dismembered body parts, eyeballs, severed heads, swollen genitalia, and anything you can possibly imagine. Actually, my first experience seeing these things made me vomit so bad, but then I think nothing will ever be as bad as what I've experienced one night. A couple of years back, it was the election season, so we had to do lots of overtime to accommodate all necessary footage needed for all the news shows. But not everything was about the election. I asked my workmate and seatmate Kay, "Dude, are you going already?" She joked, "Yes, I finished everything. I reached the quota." And then I replied, "Damn, I'll be left here alone again." And then she said, "It's okay, Cheats. You're used to being haunted, right?" I said, "You idiot. If I ever get haunted, I'll go immediately to your house so the ghosts might visit you too." We laughed. Aside from me, there were still other people in the building, though most of them doing the news. The problem was they were in the other rooms, and with Kay heading for home, I was left alone in the archiver room, and I still had about 4 hours of footage to watch. And so I told her, "Kay, wait for me please." She said, "Nah, Jane's waiting for me downstairs." I said, "Please." And then she replied, "I'm sorry, dude." And with that, I was left alone to watch footage of what looked like another rape or murder case. I pressed the play button and stared intently at the monitor, noting down specific times and other details necessary for archive records. According to the footage, a girl of about 15 years of age was killed and raped beside her school. The primary suspect was the old janitor, who was found sleeping with the child's bloodied up underwear. Though he denied all accusations, the evidence clearly pointed to him. Much of the first hour was composed of background shots of the province's footage, which could be used for other reports that might come in. The next hour was footage of the school during the afternoon. Pupils were already heading for home, so nothing specific was very noticeable. There was a fight between kids, but besides that and kids waving in front of camera, nothing was really standing out to me. I wrote the necessary notes and proceeded to watch Hour 3. Hour 3 was composed of footage within the crime scene. This was important because reporters' video and other interview were in this hour. Typical stuff for a segment on TV news. I made the necessary notes and replayed the footage just to be sure. Because this was raw, the mutilated corpse of the child was shown on the video. Truly disturbing that it really makes one vomit every time seeing something such as this. The cameraman for this report was very thorough and shots were clear and there were relatively no problems. Well, except for a child that was crossing the screen every now and then. For sure, they would have probably concluded that the victim was haunting the area and this was her ghost. But I was so focused with my editing that I didn't have time to think of that until my phone rang. I answered the phone and said, "Hello. Dude, are you still there?" It was Vince, another archiver. And I said, "Yeah dude, I'm almost done, although I still have about an hour or so. Why'd you ask?" And then he replied, "I might have left my iPod there. Can you keep it for me? I'll get it tomorrow." And I said, "Sure, no problem." And then that was it. He said, "Thanks, goodbye." And then when I finished talking to Vince, I went back into watching the footage, and by this time, thoughts started running through my head. The little girl in the video started to become more prominent. More and more shots of her were starting to get more noticeable. She was everywhere, walking around the place. Almost all shots of the area had some sort of sightings of her. I was scared. I went back a couple of minutes to double check if this girl was really the victim, checking the initial reports of the crew back at school, wherein they showed ID pictures of the girl. I was surprised to find out that the haunting girl was not the victim. They had on the same uniform, but she was definitely not the victim in question. I breathed a sigh of relief. But then I noticed something really weird. The little girl was in even more footage. She was freaking everywhere. The school footage was full of her, as if she was omnipotent in that school. That fight I told you about, she was there in the background, talking to someone, whispering to another girl. Of course, I couldn't hear the audio because it was quite noisy, with all the kids shouting and running around. I fast forwarded the crime scene shots to check how much of the footage was spoiled because of the little girl in question. And just as I suspected, hour 3 was filled with footage of shots with her in the background. Talk about creepy. But at least she wasn't a ghost, I said to myself. Still, I was quite curious to find out why she was there. Could she have been a friend to the victim? I decided to max out the volume and isolated some sounds. Anxious to hear who she was talking to in school, I zoomed in, typed in the correct settings, and played the real-time speed. I heard a voice say, "He is listening to us, Sally." All of a sudden, the little girl seemingly stared at me through the screen. Yeah, he is watching us. Long story short, I stopped the tape, shut down all equipment, not waiting for the LED lights to completely turn off. I ran so fast out of there that I forgot about Vince's iPod. The next day, I handed the tape over to Vince and vowed never again to work alone at night. Still, I have no idea who that girl was or who she was talking to. I'm guessing it was the victim, but honestly, I don't have any plans to ever find out.
Comment down below, hit like, share and subscribe for more videos.